Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
Cruising your way on this episode of Off 90. Drama unfolds where the Root River bends. Step behind the scenes of Lanesboro's Commonweal Theatre. Harmony's Betty Dow passes on the tradition of Norwegian rosemauling. And in 1876, Northfield foiled a Jesse James bank robbery. Find out how the city still celebrates today. It's all just ahead, Off 90. Hi, I'm Barbara Keith. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Off 90. Professional quality productions in the heart of Bluff Country. Lanesboro's Commonweal Theatre has been bringing plays to life since 1989. And even though they're not located in an urban center, the Commonweal is well known for a high standard of excellence. It's also home to a number of professional actors from around the country. So sit back and enjoy as we dim the lights.
We are a professional regional theater in a small town. It's a very tough business to be in. And we've been very successful, and yet it's a struggle every year. We say that if you give us 2 hours, we'll affect you in some way. We'll either make you laugh, we'll challenge you, we might make you think, we might make you cry, but we will take you out of your existence for a couple of hours and with our story show you an aspect of humanity you may not have thought about prior to coming.
Will there be anything else, madam?
What was it I wanted?
Every company member really puts forward between 40 and 80 hours of work in a given week, and that's across the board.
Do you have any Coty L'Amour?
Perfume?
No powder?
Certainly.
It's something that we love, but we recognize that that love brings sacrifice, and it's that sacrifice as well as the generosity of people who support the theater that makes it possible.
May I recommend the large one, madam? It's more than twice the amount at quite a saving.
You'll fare much better with the larger size, madam.
Young man, I'm in rather a hurry.
I am so sorry, madam. Will there be anything else?
Show me.
There are lots of props and pretty costumes and a set behind me. It's the actor and the transformative power of the actor that we try to bring to performance and to our audience. And over time, the audience has grown to really accept this aesthetic and embrace it really fully. It's been great.
Will you please pay the cashier, madam, and thank you so much for your understanding.
There's parfumerie, and parfumerie. Steph, maybe we only need a bow on this end. This play is very seldom done. I believe this may be the 9th or 10th production in North America, including Canada.
When you turn to go the first time, turn downstage, not upstage.
There are multiple story levels within the show, but the main story is 2 shop clerks who bicker and argue and they just can't stand each other, and it turns out that for a year and a half they've been corresponding, writing anonymous love letters to one another.
It's me. Box 520.
The other end of the spectrum, an older gentleman who runs the shop, who's been married for years, who may or may not be a workaholic, who may be married to his job, and he finds out his younger wife is having an affair.
Job, I'm just trying to help. Like you've been helping with my wife? Get out, you lowlife! Get out of my sight! Get out of here before I kill you!
So we watch as the younger lovers discover who they are and discover their brand new love for each other. And as we watch that, we see the older, more established love that is now going through trauma and tumult, and how these two work it through, and then what they bring and what they teach to the other.
This one. I miss her, George.
I really love this play.
I only made remarks about your feet once, and it was just in jest.
Well, there's not much I can do about my feet, you know, any more than you can do something about your, I don't know, nose.
Well, in some ways we're different, in some ways we're similar. She's a lot more, she's a lot more hesitant to call people out, and she's really more hesitant to get angry than I would be at some of the things that happen to her. Not that I'm an angry person, but I'm a confident woman in 2011, and this is a woman who's living in 1937. So gender roles are totally kind of different, and how people operate in society is different at that time. She just wants to do her best, and she wants to get all of her work done, and she wants to like check everything off her list in a proper way. And so it's been interesting to find ways that we are similar and ways that we are different.
Rachel, let's do this. Let's go get into costume. Let's preset your quick changes if you have any, and you do.
Well, this is a wonderful opportunity, the Commonweal Theater being a resident ensemble. It's a chance to kind of be in one place and work with a group of people over a long period of time, as opposed to kind of being in a larger city where maybe you're constantly searching for the next job. I really fell into this wonderful opportunity. I came here thinking it was just another theater in another town, and I'd be here for a little bit, and I would move on.
Now, it is middle of winter. I'm guessing long johns or clothes.
I mean, I have a home here. My wife, who works for the company, we met here and married, and we have a young son who's at home right now. And it's kind of as actors, they tell you can't have those things because you have to move around so much, you have to make so many sacrifices for your career. But this has proven to be such a special community, such a special theater company, that I've been able to have those things that you say you can't have.
At 7, we're going to do a dress tonight. We're going to start probably with working a few of the prop challenges, and we'll look at costumes. And I don't think we'll start a run much before 8. So, thanks. Have a good dinner break. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been accused of having really high standards, particularly of myself. All right, let's strike it and try it again. Sorry, guys.
Can I see Amalia?
But I feel, again, going back to that idea that we are a vital part of the community, that there's never a minute or a show or a performance that we can afford to half-ass, for lack of a better word.
All right, let's go to places that have already.
Thank you, places.
70% of the people who've gone through our apprenticeship program are engaged in professional theater across the country.
Yeah, you guys, that actually works.
The model, I think, is very much driven from my concept of how theater should function. That is, a resident ensemble, people working with each other over long periods of time, developing a skill set, developing a company-wide aesthetic, a style, if you will, and totally based in the community and responding to the community and the region in which we live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for joining us here at the Commonweal Theater for tonight's performance of Parfumerie. I do have a couple of...
I think it's our willingness to embrace the notion of theater as service and theater as giving and connecting.
Eloise. And I have returned his love in kind. Loved Cressida. More than Abelard loved Heloise. And I have returned his love in kind.
My body kind of fills with a little bit of pride, and there is a deeply satisfying emotional response, not when the production starts, but at the end of an evening when an audience is signaling with their applause or their laughter or their conversation, the fact that they've spent the 2 hours and that it was worthwhile fills me with tremendous satisfaction.
of the woods, chances are you've seen some examples of an old style of Norwegian decorative painting known as rosemalling. But you probably don't know what kind of work goes into crafting these beautiful designs. Good thing Betty Dow of Harmony is making sure to pass on the rosemalling tradition to her students across the country.
Rosemalling is strictly a Norwegian art form. People think that it's painting roses, but rosemalling is painting flowers, scrolls. It's a variety of things. It is a fantasy painting. You take a flower and you marry it with another flower and anything goes. I mean, you have some of the most beautiful imaginary creations. My name is Betty Dow, and I teach Norwegian rosemalling. And the history shows that it started in about 1750, and the Norwegian men would sail to various countries and bring back ideas. For instance, they would bring back the idea of the tulip from the Dutch, and the hatching and dark colors from the Orient. And in Norway, rosemalers would travel from house to house and do rosemalling. Rosemalling just about died out, and when the young people came to America, and when they came, their first concern was to make their land, and very little rosemalling was done. It's one of the things that has so much history, and the roots go back. It would be very important to continue this so that it doesn't die out like it almost did in Norway. The best thing about rosemalling is the teaching. When I teach beginners classes, the first thing we do is to practice brush strokes. And rosemalling is nothing but brush strokes. Because when you're doing rosemalling, everything is S&C strokes. And if you learn that, you can do anything. And when you're doing it, it's thin at the top, pressure, pressure, thin, thin, pressure, pressure, thin. And there's nothing like having a class and watching these people that have never had a brush in their hand take that brush, and by listening to what you say, do it and come up with something. And at the end of the day, they look at it and they'll say, oh my gosh, this looks good. I'm half Irish and half German, and the only reason that I'm in rosemalling is because I accidentally stumbled into it. Just the love of the Norwegian art and the Norwegian history.
Som eppli fram ut bak kvisten skyter.
When I rosemal, it's my own little world, you might say.
med folkeveten og den mundag.
And as I'm painting, I'm just thinking about the piece. You have to sort of concentrate on what you're doing and not thinking about tomorrow or the next day.
Så låt tonen fra hjertet strømme, og lat oss kvia, lat oss drømme.
I enjoy and have a love for rose mulling because of the color, and when I see a piece, the excitement. And you paint something, and the next week you're on something else, and it's never the same. It's always new, and it's something where I can design and create and put some of me in it. I hope I'm helping to preserve the Norwegian culture.
In 1876, several gunmen rode into Northfield hoping to rob a bank. But the townsfolk had other plans. Jesse James and his gang were notorious the country over for their exploits, a string of robberies spanning several states. But it all came to an end in Northfield when the townspeople decided to fight back. More than 130 years later, Northfield is still celebrating that victory with the defeat of Jesse James' days.
In 1876, Jesse James, Frank James, Bob, Jim, Cole Younger, Charlie Pitts, Bill Caldwell, and another raider came in to rob the bank, and they had been robbing banks all over the Midwest. Let's go get some money out of the banks and the stagecoaches and the trains. And people just gave up. But when they came to Northfield, it wasn't like that at all. And so when they rode into town, they come walking into the bank, three of them, demanding money. In the meantime, a merchant tried to get to the bank, and he saw what was going on, and he yelled,
"Get your guns pointed! They're robbing the bank!"
And so the doctors, the dentists, and townspeople, the merchants, did go get their guns. All the raiders outside now, 5 of them are shooting them up, telling people to get off the street.
The defeat of Jesse James Day's celebration has been one of our tremendous annual events. It's our key signature celebration in town. Preparation for the celebration is year-long. It started as a small festival and has just grown ever since then. So it's celebrated every year, the weekend after Labor Day.
In Northfield, we're 35 minutes away from 2.5 million people, so there's never a shortage of crowds to come down here. We'll have huge crowds that come. This year the weather's beautiful. It's going to be a big weekend.
I'm Wayne Eddy. I'm the general chairman of the Defeated Jesse James Days for the year 2011. This is the 4th time I've been chairman or co-chairman, and it's absolutely a thrill to be able to work with our volunteers and put on a show like we put on in Northfield, Minnesota. In 1948, a group of guys got together and said, let's have a celebration. Let's call it Jesse James Days.
Get out of here!
They had one raid, it lasted one day, no carnivals and all that, and it grew, and then about 1960, the light went on, and we started calling it Defeated Jesse James Days. It just turned into a huge, huge party, but it's just a lot of fun. The joke is, you can't quit unless you find a replacement or you die. Other than that, it's your job. So I've been a PR guy for many, well, all 43 years. But there are hundreds, if not thousands, in all those years that have been contributors to this great thing. I just can't let go. You know, when you get to run a parade and when you get to rob a bank on horseback, and you get to be at the carnival and get a free ride and go through the what I like to call the part of town where they have all the vendors, the grazing area, and you get a free donut here or there. And I'll tell you, it's just in my blood. One of the nice things about our celebration is that we are the largest all-volunteer celebration in Minnesota. Not one person on our committee makes any money, and our object is to have the clubs like the Rotarians and the Lions and the JCs and the churches and the athletic clubs all get involved selling donuts or selling raffle tickets or selling pop or carrying banners through the parade.
Planning for the organization takes place throughout the year. The celebration itself is incorporated with their own board of directors, and many of the individuals there are meeting every week, planning different aspects of the celebration. And besides that, there's other organizations in the community that have a piece of the celebration that they take part in.
It's a very, very busy weekend with everything from bicycle runs and walks and all the way to raid reenactments, which is the highlight of our effort here.
This is my 42nd year holding that bank up. In the early days, we just did one performance. Now we do 8. None of us ride all 8 of the performances, but it is just as exciting today as it was in 1970 for me. And it's equally as exciting for me to watch new riders come in and watch my kids. We just retired my 86-year-old father from the bank raids. My mom didn't want him getting shot off his horse anymore. But now, you know, the younger riders coming in. So, yeah, it's a thrill of a lifetime. We absolutely want everything to be as original and accurate as possible. The number of gunshots that we fire, we're very close to the number that we're firing. We don't just go out there and, you know, go Hollywood. We're very accurate with the count. Research is what is really key, and it's what really makes our celebration and the reenactment what it is. Right down to the minutest little details that we can come up with. Now, sometimes it's hard to portray those minute details, but sometimes it works out.
We have over 100,000 people in the community over that weekend, so there's a lot of people here enjoying food and lodging here and shopping, you know, those kinds of things. So that spills over into the retail sector, well, eating places, you know, the lodging places, so there's financial benefit from those visitors as well. There's a lot of benefits. Clubs and organizations benefit, our local businesses benefit, and it literally puts Northfield on the map in a lot of ways that would be harder to get our name, I guess, out there and on the map if it wasn't for this piece of history that we reenact every year. History here is very important. We preserve it, we respect it. It's kind of the old story, if you don't know where you came from, how do you know where you're going? But there is a preservation of history here that's very important.
That's all for this episode. See you next time. Off 90.
Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.